Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Motorheads, I know you got all kinds of toys. Maybe it's an ATV or a motorcycle, something like that. Great to ride, they make life easy, but getting where you're going with them, that can be really tough. This is what you have right now. You got a pickup truck. They're tremendously useful, but never perfect for what you're hauling here. What are some of the drawbacks, Phil, of just having a pickup truck to haul one of these?
Well, the key thing is safety in loading them. You've seen all the videos of people falling off or things like that. Tying them down. A lot of times these things are too long and your tailgate can't shut. And then what do you do with it when it's inside and you have bad weather or you're stopped for pizza and don't want to leave your gear out in the elements?
Yeah, and with a pickup truck, you still have to put your luggage back here and everything with it.
That's right.
As well. So the solution is Truck Boss. How does it work?
Thanks. So Truck Boss is great. It's just a structural deck or tonneau cover that goes on top of the pickup, allows you to load everything, motorcycles, ATVs, on the deck, and then still have storage underneath that's dry and secure.
Is this something that I can load my vehicle up by myself?
Absolutely. So we have a product called Flex Loader. Allows you to load a heavy lift motorcycle, Harley Davidson or something, and a winch simply hooked up there pulls it up and onto the deck into its own catch system.
This thing's tremendously capable. What are the different things I can do with the Truck Boss?
Absolutely. So we haul snowmobiles, ATVs, motorcycles. Heck, we even had a guy up in Maine winch a moose up on top.
It's hard to get the moose to convince him to get on there, but I'm sure he's able to do it. And so how is it constructed to enable us to get maybe two ATVs up there or two motorcycles?
That's a great question. We're all extruded aluminum. So that's aluminum that fits together really nicely. It kind of is all engineered to work together. Don't have any welds and is a complete bolt-on kit to your truck.
And I saw on one of your videos on the website, it shows the winch and how having that extruded aluminum allows you to be adaptable with the winch.
Yeah, absolutely. So imagine if you had two ATVs or two snowmobiles, the winch can slide from one side to the other, so you could pick up one on the left and one on the right.
That's perfect. Installation's easy. What if I need to take it off in the off chance? I probably once you get it on, you don't want to take it off because it's so useful.
Pretty easy. So just 5 bolts on each side. The deck removes, comes off of the rails, and then you're back to a pickup bed.
Having that aluminum allows you to have really, really close tolerances.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so why is that important?
It's important to have everything fit together properly. So in our manufacturing, we make sure that we're down to a 20 thousandths on most parts. And that just means that when you have two parts that go together that are mated together, that they're going to be the same length. The bolts that slide through the capture channels aren't going to hit a thick spot or a thin spot where they just get stuck.
I've had a traditional tonneau cover, and that's the big problem. You try to slide those bolts, and they're always getting stuck there.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you ensure that quality control?
A big part of it is just everything's made in the U.S. All the way from Minnesota, Oregon, Utah, Georgia. Our parts come from all over, and I'm pretty excited about that. Everything staying here in the U.S. and being manufactured here.
It's fantastic. We talked earlier about getting your gear wet if you've got to put it in the back of the pickup truck. How do you solve that problem?
So that's great. So we have, basically there's a weather seal that goes all the way around the deck, and then there's a rear flapper that just flips down as the tailgate goes up and shuts. It creates a seal that keeps everything dry and secure.
And accessing your gear once it's in the truck?
Yeah,
how do you make that easy to get to?
That's our smart box. So that's a roll-in, roll-out tray. Comes all the way out, allows you to access gear that is all the way up front.
A lot of folks have UTVs out there, side-by-sides. Can the Truck Boss support one of those?
Yeah, absolutely. We have extensions for most all of them. The big long 4-seaters, they're getting pretty long for small trucks for sure, but all 2-seaters and everything like that, absolutely.
And there's a huge market that's expanding out there right now, the overlanding business.
Yeah.
What do you have at Truck Boss that can help the folks that love to overland?
Overlanding's great. I mean, that's it is what you make it, right? A lot of guys now, it gives them the ability to haul their adventure motorcycle and still have all their camping gear, their rooftop tent, their kitchens that slide in and out of the back, and everything is tight and secure.
Whatever you ride, they carry. They're Truck Boss. These things are fantastic. If you're an overlander, you're going to love it too. You can find it at truckbossdecks.com. We'll return with more Motorhead Garage presented by Dragonfire Tools.com, including the Motorhead of the Week when we come back.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. Campbell's Custom Care, your detail specialist. And by PaintedAutoBodyParts.com, the leading U.S. auto body parts online store.
This is Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com. Now, if you make or sell a product, of course, you can get that product out to the customer, but it's just a thing. How can you take a thing to the next level, Alicia?
That's a great question. I'd say with our lasers, you're able to add a personal touch to everything that you have, whether that's something that you make. Say you make ceramic mugs, you could add a little logo on there, you could add somebody's name, and just add that personal touch that really elevates that item, that much higher.
Yeah, we've seen AP Lazer on the show before, but for the folks that haven't seen it, talk about some of the ways that AP Lazer is incredibly versatile.
Yeah, so I've used a lot of different lasers. I've got a couple boxed in things, and moving to this, our unboxed system really kind of elevates what you're able to do. You're able to slide things under, say like a door or a car hood, different things like that. And you're also able to just lower your machine right down to your material now. So it's
and that's a new feature from AP Lazer.
Yeah,
you guys call it the lowrider feature.
Yeah, and that is something that's featured on all of our machines now as well. So.
Okay. And so why would I want to be able to bring that down? I suppose if you've got a door or something big, it's maybe hard to balance on a table or something like that.
You could definitely, you can put that on a lift cart and roll that under there, but you could also just have it on the floor so you know that it's level and you know that it's going to be easy to slide in and out. You don't have to mess with cranking up the lift cart anymore. You can just lower the machine right down to meet your material. I know a lot of people that do monument designs will use it with that. You don't have to crank that heavy piece of granite up to meet the machine anymore. You can just bring that right down to meet it there.
Very cool. And with car parts, everything's curvy. So
Yeah.
we've done a car hood before, and I remember we had to balance it to get it under the machine, and if you're able to put it on the floor.
It makes it a lot easier for sure. And you're able to use these little side guys here to kind of help with the leveling as well.
Little micro adjustment on each corner. What are some of the other features that make an AP Lazer a turnkey package when you get it?
Well, on top of getting everything that you need to operate the machine, we also we'll have that laptop ready for you, the different software that you're going to need to run the machine, as well as our 24/7 tech support and a training session for you. So you get everything that you need to get up and running to start your small business, to add to your current business, or to just kind of have fun with it. So there's everything that you could possibly need is included when you purchase our machines.
You touched on small businesses, and you talk to and work with a lot of small business owners when you're working with AP Lazer. What's sort of the common thread among all of the folks that you meet?
Diversification for sure, stepping out of the box and doing things that you wouldn't think of doing. I know that personally I have my own small business that I run with these, and I do a lot of different fashion things, but I could also change it up and do some portraits, and then I could even, slide a kitchen door under there and do that as well.
So someone who's doing automotive stuff with tools and things can maybe roll into doing cups and tumblers and things to really to further their brand.
Absolutely. That's the big thing, is furthering your brand. You can add your own logo to different things, or if that's something that you're outsourcing, getting your logo put on things, you can do that yourself now.
And I've seen a lot of companies, they make parts and they do have to outsource this to get their logo or something on those parts. What if I am a larger company, I've got an assembly line or something that I need to move a lot of parts through?
Well, that's definitely something you can do. You can hook up a conveyor system and just kind of keep things rolling on there. I know a lot of people set up different kind of jigs and everything to get things lined up, so you can just run everything all at once as well.
With the AP Lazer, how do you know how to adjust things to adapt to different materials?
It's a really great question. It's really just trial and error. We give you a suggested speed and settings list for every, a lot of different materials. But really, I always just suggest having a tiny test piece that you can just run over again and again until you find your perfect settings and just go from there.
To me, looking at this is a very complicated piece of machinery, and it looks intimidating.
It does.
What's it like? You mentioned the turnkey package. When you get it, how fast am I going to go from complete amateur to being able to turn out products?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. I was very intimidated when I started here. I've worked with lasers before, but they were all the boxed in system, so it was very scary to see kind of this big open machine here. But with the turnkey package, you get everything you need to get started, you get that training, and we have that 24/7 tech support, so if you ever run into anything, it can be the smallest thing, you're seeing a little line that you don't want to see, just reach out and we're happy to help you figure things out.
AP Lazer has always made it easy to turn out amazing products, and it's even easier now thanks to the lowrider system. You have to check it out. It's at aplazer.com. What are you waiting for? We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by Dragonfiretools.com. So do not touch that dial.
Motorhead Garage presented by Dragonfiretools.com, coming to you from the Campbell's Custom Care Studio.
Well, not just in the Campbell's Custom Care Studio this week, we're also spending some time out here in Phoenix, Arizona at Shock Therapy. Now, Justin, we've seen this incredible facility here. You guys will service anybody's shocks, any brand that comes in, you can service it and then rebuild it. But when it comes to stuff you sell and stuff you put on the vehicle, how much of that do you make here in-house?
You know, we make everything in-house. There's very little that we source out, maybe nuts and bolts, that's about it. But we're very particular about the components that we build. We're very particular about how they're built. The only thing we install here are products on every vehicle made, and we do service every single shock made.
And when it comes to parts, how many different part numbers do you manufacture?
Currently we have 450 SKUs. To be honest though, some of those are 4-seat spring kits versus 2. And so that actually brings it down to about 200.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah.
How important is it for you to make everything here, to make sure it's what you need?
You know, making everything is paramount because we originally started with other companies building things for us, and we really couldn't control the quality. And so we brought all the manufacturing in-house. We do all of the CNC work here. We do all the welding and fabrication and design work here in-house. Starts sometimes with a sketch on a notepad, and then from there goes into CAD drawings, engineered drawings, and then to CNC programming language, and then prototype components.
How do you decide a part needs to be made in the first place?
So the way that we approach our parts design and where we're going to go with it is basically the need in the vehicle as we see things starting to fail. As we make the vehicles ride better, sometimes people drive a lot faster, definitely a lot safer, but when you do that, you'll find the next weakest link in a UTV. So for instance, if we do a spring kit, internals, and you're able to go 50 miles an hour through the whoops instead of 40, you might find that the tie rods are now the weakest spot. We'll go ahead and make that. And once the tie rods are fixed, you might find the next weakest link could be a radius rod. We then go down the next part and the next part on the list until we get to the end and you've got a UTV that'll put up with the abuse.
Someone that may be new to the UTV world, out there banging around on the trails, like, oh, what's a couple thousand? So why is it going to make a difference that you guys pay so much attention to the tolerance and to the materials you guys use?
You know, high quality materials, the best heat treat, the best coatings, all add up to longevity. And longevity and components are very important to us as well. You can buy aftermarket parts that may only last for 1,000 miles and now it's worn out and you got to buy another one. What we try to do is design parts that are a lifetime component for the UTV. So you buy it once and you can forget it. You're going to be worrying about something else on the vehicle, not our parts.
But that is not a good business model if people only buy from you one time. So how do you make that work?
You know, you're right. Maybe we should have failure points, but
some people do.
They do, and we see it, but not with us. We really want to make sure that we build the best thing. We want to also make sure that no one else can improve on our part. It's designed in such a way that nobody can make it better than we did.
Quality is tantamount to shock therapy. What's one of the ways you can make sure folks are going to get a quality part when they get it in their mailbox?
From the beginning, high quality CNC machining. Number 2, checking the components after the fact. We've got a ton of scanning devices that'll verify all of our tolerances. After we send parts out for things like heat treat, anodizing, we always check all the heat treat ratings with a Rockwell tester. We spot check all the batches. And throughout the assembly process, we've got a whole list of things that must be checked and signed off by that assembly person and documented. It's also documented for history attached to the part number of that, for instance, rack and pinion. We know exactly who assembled it. We know exactly the tolerances that were in it for the rest of its life.
Like every good story, it starts at the beginning, and you've got to start with high quality materials. How do you ensure that?
So everything that we use and source material-wise is located and sourced inside the USA. We also make everything in the USA. So we're very, very proud of that. We're very, very stringent upon the materials that we get, and all of them have history certs, so we know what mill they came from and what batch they were in.
We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by Dragonfiretools.com, so don't go anywhere.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Dragonfiretools.com. Industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage. And brought to you by Amsoil, the first in synthetics. Strapino, your simple solution to tie-down straps and cargo needs. And by Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radio since 1977.
We are trucking along here at Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. And just take a look at this great-looking Ford Raptor we have here in the studio. Fantastic-looking truck. Well, do me a favor. Close your eyes. All right, now open them. What a pop of color. Just that little detail right there, the color on the tow hooks. And John, up until now, if you wanted to take your OEM tow hooks and put color on them, what would you have to go through?
You'd either have to paint them or powder coat them.
And you're talking big time expense, lots of money, lots of time, but you've come up with a solution at Tokes.
Yeah, our Tokes solved the problem. Without any labor, you can just pop these on in about 20 seconds and it changes the front end of your truck.
Well, how do they work?
Each Toke has a channel underneath that's patented, and the only way you can get a rubber tube on a closed hook, and they just pop right over.
Obviously, they're easy to put on. Are they durable? How long are they going to last?
You know, I've ordered a lot of truck products for my own truck. Sometimes disappointed with durability and fading, so it was very important to us. We made them highest quality silicone rubber. The integrity stays, they adhere to the hook, and they're fade resistant. We put a lot of UV protection within each hook.
And you're out in California, so you've had plenty of UV testing done on these things.
Yes, we've thrown them on the roofs and they're fade resistant.
And how many different colors do you make?
We're up to 7 colors. We have red, white, blue, amber, pink, and newest colors are neon green and yellow. A lot of requests for those.
And the ambers are very cool on this truck. We did it earlier and we had the lights on. It really looked fantastic. Now, how many different makes and models are we covering here for the OEM hooks?
Well, as a new company, we start off with the trucks that are most sold. Those are the half tons. So you got the F-150s, the Toyota Tundras, the Dodge Ram 1500s, the Chevy Silverados, and the TRXs, and the Raptors. Been great in that community. They love the pop the color gives on their truck, and just a simple way to change things up on the front end.
And another thing that really jumps out on the box here, made in the United States of America. How important is that to you?
From the get-go, we wanted to find our manufacturers. We wanted to make sure it was shipped. Everything's designed, everything's done USA.
I've looked all over social media and I see you guys everywhere. People reviewing it and they love the product. What are some of the things you're hearing?
Yeah, social media has been kind to us. We've had a lot of great comments. Best idea ever. Email I got from a customer the other day, 3 words, I love them. That was it. So it was very nice. And just the whole Raptor community and TRX community, especially because the Tokes fit on both the front end and the back end of those trucks, and they have 4 clear round. It's been great in that community. They've been wonderful.
Well, you're going to love the price, you're going to love the ease of installation, and you're going to love the way they look on your truck. You can find the Tokes at hookproductsusa.com.
Transmission slipping, or perhaps it's not moving at all. Well, let's take a look inside and see why that might be happening. Welcome to this Amsoil Tech Tip. We're going deep inside the transmission and we're taking a look at the clutch packs. Where are they? Well, they're located inside there. You can see them right there inside the transmission. What do? Well, it holds different members of the transmission to achieve gears. It's a pretty complex machine. But you can see here, there's friction material, steel plates, friction material, and then a drum with a piston. Better yet, I have one right here on the table. You can see this is the actual drum. Now there would be a band around here that would hold the outer, and the inner is some members that causes the gears to shift. So I can pull them out here. There's a little snap ring. I'll pull them out, show you the clutches. So you have the actual steel, and then in between there, you have these fibers, steel and fibers. So what's going on is they're spinning in there, and then down here is a piston assembly. So when the fluid gets directed to this clutch pack, it actually pushes that piston up, bam, and it squeezes those clutches and it holds those clutches in place. You can see it right here on the graphic. It's actually got the clutches right here, and then the piston's pushing in on squeezing them. Now here's a whole range reference chart. What's going on here? Oh, we don't expect you to know that, but it actually shows what's held and applied to achieve all these different gears. But Len, these gears are not going to happen without fluid.
Nope, this whole thing requires fluid to make it all work. That's kind of the cool part. And it's all fluid under pressure, as you've discussed. The thing of it is that fluid needs to be reliable. It needs to be able to hold up to different kinds of heat, but mainly pressure.
And pressure's the key word there. I have a pressure solenoid right here, Len, and what's happening with the newer transmission is, well, it might start slipping. The transmission boosts line pressure, slipping, boost line pressure, and then all of a sudden it doesn't move at all, and you wind up with these burnt clutches, man. Amsoil has a product that's going to help this situation.
It does, and our Signature Series transmission fluid is designed to hold its viscosity under those insane heat conditions, and then we don't have to continue to boost those pressures and then increase the heat, which causes that clutch slippage. So if the fluid will hold together due to really good base oils, properly formulated additives, you don't run into any of these problems. So avoid it by using a good product. Simple.
And there you go. You can check them out on the website at amsoil.com. Find this fluid and so many others.
Deep in the heart of Texas, that's where we find our Motorhead of the Week, Richard Johnson. He says he eats, sleeps, and drinks automobiles. When he was still in high school, Richard used to buy, fix, and sell Volkswagens, and naturally that's evolved into a lifetime of working in the auto industry. For over 35 years, Richard's worked in body shops, at super shops, and at dealerships. And just a few years ago, he started a car transport business. He says his is different than everybody else because he's a car guy, and other car guys trust him with their classic cars, and I believe him. Among the cars you'll find in Richard's garage, a 66 Cutlass convertible that his daughter helped him build when she was little. He sold it at one point, but he bought it back 9 years later, and I have a feeling that one is a keeper now. Go to MotorheadGarage.tv and tell us your story. Maybe you can be our next Motorhead of the Week. We are out of time, but we hope you join us next week when we do it again. Until then, so long from the entire crew here at Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. Drive safely.